Okay, my name's David Freeman, General Manager of Vehicle Access Solutions. Have 28 years experience in wheelchair accessible vehicles and modifying them. We're here today to actually provide you some training on operating of your wheelchair lift and restraints. So we'll go through the basics of the lift first. First and foremost, we have an isolation key at the top of the lift. Okay, this controls power to the lift, and the power to this lift actually needs to be turned on or turned off when you're not using the product. The direct power comes from the battery, and if there is any form of spiking or power issues with the lifter and or the vehicle, it can cause the motor to burn out. So when you're finished using the lift, turn the power off. To turn on, as soon as you turn it on, 90-degree turn, the lights start flashing, power on. Hand control, 4 buttons. Push button control, down, up, unfold and fold, all written. To unfold the unit, take it away. We always make sure we are clear of the wheelchair lift. Make sure any people that we're about to take are clear of the wheelchair lift, and a clear push down, hold up the safety lock and unfold, everyone clear. Loader comes down and stops. The down button, the next cycle, it is gravity down. So with the more weight that is on it, it will come down quicker. Gravity down, power up. You can't have gravity down because it'll jack the vehicle up. Staying clear, loader completes its cycle on the ground. Next phase is if we're taking a wheelchair on, we're bringing our wheelchair person on, brakes off, onto the wheelchair, onto the lift, brakes on. Now we have what is part of our manuals, which says, do we ride on the load, do we not ride on the load? This comes down to a policy where we leave this in conjunction with your loading policy. If there is only one person, then it may be necessary to ride on the load. If you have 2 people out, it's better to have one person here, one person inside. For example, today, I'm going to give you is standing beside here. Person's in the wheelchair, brakes are on, always communicating to them what's going to happen. As soon as you touch a button, try and keep your finger on the button. Don't press on, press off. Okay, it makes the cycle nice and quick. So press up, loader leaves the ground, holding on, supporting the person, making sure they're okay. Okay, in this instance, if you had that secondary person inside, they would then help bring this person inside now.
I am now, yeah.
Okay. All right, from here, we need to make sure our hand control is either somewhere safe, so as we can actually, not going to hurt it. Take the brakes off the individual's chair, and we're heading inside. Brakes back on. We're about to restrain the wheelchair, and the idea here for the larger style wheelchairs is we use the back track and the front of the middle tracks. Okay, and the reason we do that is our restraints, which are a universal belt that can actually go in all 4 corners. It doesn't matter, they're not front or rear, or they're not one side or left or right. Okay, the reason we do that is our front belts must go to the outside of our foot plates. And when we're restraining a wheelchair, we always look for a solid part on the frame. We never go on to a part of the wheelchair that is a detachable part. Okay, and that is purely due to if there is an accident. Okay, so on this particular chair, I'm going to go to the outside here of my foot plates, in, click, locked in. and I'm going to bring that up, and I would suggest somewhere in here is going to be the most feasible part on that chair, with a nice straight lockdown there. The chair has its brakes on at the moment, so it's not going anywhere. I then come to the outside here. Once again, lock in, lock the belt in, up and on, okay, onto the frame, and then down. Now, ideally, we want to try and get the belts that have a nice straight point to the chair, and if we can get between 30 to 60 degrees, we're achieving the right angle. It may not always be possible, but that is the ideal. Okay, so we're in a pretty good shape there. The chair has its brakes on. I'm about to head into the rear. When you're using the restraint, by the hook, the red lever produces what we call manual position, that allows the belt to retract into here, also allows it to release out of here. When we want to tighten these belts, as we do to get the restraint nice and tight, we simply wind these in. With the rear restraints, the idea is to take a direct line with the safety belt. So we go in close to the frame, lock the belt in, once again with the heavy click, and here looks like a great spot on the frame here. Okay, we've got a reasonable angle. Once again, in, nice and close to the frame, click, we have a direct line off to the frame, down, belt's locked in. What I do now is I will take the brakes off the wheelchair, allow the wheelchair to be free, slowly pull back on the chair, and you'll hear the restraints click and start to tighten. From that point, I will then wind on the rear restraints, as we said before, to lock them down nice and tight. At that point, we go back, check, it's nicely tightened, put the brakes back on the chair. The wheelchair is restrained safely. At this point, if anyone has any questions or is not sure, please refer to your manual inside the vehicle. There should be a standard procedure that shows the belts, front belts to the outside of the foot plates, rear belts to the inside of the rear wheels. Okay, restraining our wheelchair occupant. Firstly, if we get an occupant that says, I don't need a wheelchair belt on because my wheelchair has its own belt, that is incorrect. They must have the part of the occupant restraint system that fulfills wheelchair and occupant restraint system. So, how we do this? We have a fixture like so. You'll see how it's shaped. That fixture goes onto the nodule on the top of the restraint here, on, and pull and locks on. We always try and take a direct line of the occupant restraint to the body wherever possible, either through the rear of the chair, or in this case down the side of the chair straight to the person's body. The belt goes in, and we try and keep the hip point or the female end of the belt as close to the hip as possible, especially if we are going to use the sash part of our occupant restraint. Our other side of our belt, once again, same feature, same anchor point, pull to lock in, down the side of the chair, straight onto the person's body, and around the front, and we clip in male to female. Our lap belt comes in and locks in here. So she's locked, and the next nodule for the sash point is sitting here. Now this is the minimum requirement by law, is a lap only occupant. What I would also suggest is, in the case if you have a client that has upper body torso issues and can actually lean forward or move forward as part of the vehicle moving forward, we should look towards using the sash point or a static sash point. That pulls from the rear of the vehicle across the client's chest or and shoulders. Once again, same nodule, clips into the point here and on. We then adjust from here to a point whereby we just get our hands free, and the client, if trying to move forward, is now structurally sound. Locking our wheelchair restraint into the tracking, we have our 4 nodule based system. Straight in, drop it in, slide left or right, clear click. If you're concerned, you will see a red line that runs across the block of the restraint. Take a look and see whether that line is complete. If it's complete, it's locked in. Nice and tight, up to the wheelchair, onto the anchor point. Sturdy part of the frame, straight belt position. Locked, tighten. Cool. Okay, what I'm about to show you is our restraint release bar. The restraint release bar is here to help you and save your back. If your first row of double seats is down and your wheelchair is very close to that, you can simply lean over. The yellow part of your restraint release bar goes to the red lever, which releases our belt. We push down, you will hear the click. It's released the belt. You grab your hook off and release. Restraint release bar saves backs. Once we remove our restraints from the wheelchair, make sure by lifting up, sliding sideways, we release the belt. When we release the belts, don't just leave them in the track. Put them away in your storage box. It will save the product, and it also stops people from rolling over them and breaking them. So once again, release off, remove the belt, pull the lever up, slide across, pull the belt out, and put in the storage facility. Okay, our unloading procedure. What we do is, first and foremost, we take the brakes off the person's wheelchair. We're heading back. If we are the only person that is here unloading and it suits your company's policy, we're coming back out, okay, letting them know what's going on, our client. Then we lock our wheelchairs, advise them that they are more than happy to hold on to here if they feel safe. That's what they're there for. Alright, we're making sure we're watching our head, and we're pressing unfold and going down. Sorry, pressing down to go down. And we've reached the ground. Once we go from here, leave brakes off. Okay, we let them know we're coming off the lift, down, and our loading's complete, or unloading is complete. At this point, when you're finished and everything is done, we've got to put the loader away. We make sure everyone is clear around, taking the loader back up. Fold. Pressurize the lift. Stow, turn the power off. We're ready to go. How to operate the folding Toyota seats. We have a locking mechanism here, which is held by Velcro. We release it. We slide it up. We take it off the hook. The bracket here should always be secured at the underside of the seat. The leg unfolded out. As we're pulling down from the wall, be sure not to drop them from a great height. It will break the plastic trims. So we release down and lock into the floor setting. We fold the back of the seat up by pressing on the lever towards the wall, forward, pushing the seat back, frame up. To fold it away, it's done in reverse. So to fold the seat, you press your lever forward towards the driver, fold the seat base down. To pull the seat out of the floor bracket, we get down on our knees, we reach for the red lever under the seat, pull the lever up towards the roof, pull your seat up, fold your leg down up to the wall, pull your restraint out, release onto your lock and pull through tight. Always make sure it is locked. If you do not lock your seat, it could fall down onto an occupant at any given time. In the case of an emergency, if something goes wrong with your vehicle or the wheelchair lift in itself and there is no power, you can operate the product manually. With your feature here, we press on the button. Some other units also have a pull-out button that you release. For this one, push in, stay clear of the unit as it starts to release. Okay, to operate and to pump your loader up once you've completed the manual release, you have a handle at the top of the power pack or on the rear of the power pack on some models. Remove the handle. Your placement for the handle is here. It is like a car jack. The handle goes on to the placement and you simply pull up, push down, pull up, push down, and the lift will stow or raise or lower automatically. Complete until the cycle's done. To release your wheelchair lift, raise your safety hook and press unfold. That releases the loader. On other models, it will automatically release when you unfold, so you press your unfold button but stay clear. What I will also cover for you quickly, if you are using or you haven't used your wheelchair lift for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, it might be a week, please ensure that you come out and check your lifter and ensure that it's pressurized. Okay? A simple press of your fold button to pressurize the lift will keep it nice and tight. It will stop it from rattling inside the vehicle so much, and it will also help external call-outs. Sometimes people call us saying that the loader has travelled downwards, it's not sitting straight. Go out and pressurize your unit first and I'm sure you'll have a much better performing lifter. Upon completion, ready to leave, as you'll note, the lights are flashing, the power is still on. We have our isolation key here. We must turn our power off. Power's off, lights aren't working, we're ready to go.